And I'm going to hand it over to our board president, Renee Barker.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Good morning, everyone. Before we get started with our monthly program, we have a sponsor spotlight. So for a quick introduction to them, if you are walking around Nashville and you look up, there's a pretty good chance you will spot some of the fixtures Design Light has supplied from one of their well-known manufacturers. From the streetlights in the Gulch to the color-changing lights lining the Korean War Veterans Memorial Bridge and the new BNA Airport Garage, or to numerous local restaurants that you might have dined in, one of their fixtures could very well be lighting your current workspace or classroom. This morning, we have 3 members from Design Light. You can see the trio there, 3 ladies and one Zoom. So I'll turn it over to them to give a brief overview of Design Light.
Thanks, Renee. Hi, Twiggies. I'm Sharon, and this is Megan. That's Elaine. And Design Light is a local lighting manufacturer's rep to over 125 different manufacturers, which means we supply all the lights that Renee was just talking about. We've been in business 22 years, and we have 20 employees. We're currently located at the LEED certified Ameriplex Plaza off of Elm Hill, and have proudly been a sponsor of TWIG for the last 5 years. And Megan's now going to highlight some of the sustainable features that our manufacturers are capable of.
Good morning. I have been a member of TWIG since 2014. Used to be on the board for a few years, but TWIG's been very special to my heart and everyone here's heart. A little bit about what we do. So we supply energy efficient LED lights, but also lighting controls to help you save energy in a building. So it could be a daylight sensor to turn the lights off when it's bright enough, or occupancy sensors, or when people aren't in the room. Something that's been trending for the past few years is the declare label on materials. So a lot of our factories, one of them being Mark, has started declaring, it's basically like a nutrition facts for products to tell you where they've come from and what they're made of. So we have some more products that are kind of trending that way. Also, we can help architects or engineers or designers meet LEED accreditation and also WELL certification. So it's not just important for the lights to be efficient anymore, but they should also be visually comfortable and good for humans, the inhabitants. So Elaine's been involved with some of the dark sky legislation that Berkeley Allen has proposed in the last few months. So yeah, it's a little bit about what we do. Basically bridge the gap from our 126 factories to local people here in Middle Tennessee who need the lights.
And I'm Elaine. I've been a TWIG member for 2 or 3 years. We were just saying, I guess the COVID year doesn't count, so maybe 2 years. But anyway, just to conclude what these ladies said, if you want to learn more about us, you can visit our website. It's www.designlight.net. You can find out about lighting trends that are current, all the manufacturers that we represent. There's application photos of jobs we've done, and also there's continuing education opportunities about lighting linked on our website. So feel free to take a look at that. And then you have us 3 as resources as well if you have any questions regarding lighting.
And one important thing I forgot to mention that is very current right now is disinfecting lights. So everybody wants to have a cleaner environment, whether it be a hospital, but also just an office or a school or really anywhere because of COVID. So we do have UV lights, but also non-UV lights that don't degrade finishes as much, that do disinfect and kill the SARS-CoV-2 virus and flu viruses. So we do all sorts of stuff with the lights, but thanks for having us this morning and letting us share a little bit.
Of course. Thank you so much, Megan, Sharon, and Elaine. And if any of our members want to connect with them, we got some links in the chat, and we also encourage you to check out the member directory on our website. I believe everyone is in there, so you can reach out to them directly that way. Awesome. All right, now it's time for our main program speaker. I'd love to welcome Anna Schwager from Southwest Airlines. Anna serves as the community outreach lead for Southwest Airlines, where she is responsible for strategic outreach to national, state, and local nonprofit and business organizations that positively impact communities. Anna will share her Southwest story, insight into the company culture, and Southwest Repurpose with Purpose program, a global initiative that upcycles items such as leather seat coverings and transforms them into new products, which is really awesome. So thank you so much, Anna. I'll let you take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you. And I feel like after that trivia, I should kick it off with a little trivia. Before I share my screen, I've got a trivia for everyone. So drop it in the chat. I may need some help with the answers, but how many people applied for a job at Southwest Airlines in 2019? Take your best guess. How many people said, I want to work at Southwest in 2019? Do we have any guesses out there?
Ooh, we got 20,000, a million, 5,000, 2,587. Laurel Creech said, my mom did. So we know
I
at
hope
least
she
one.
got hired, Laurel. Okay, are all the answers in?
Looks like it. 500,000, 8,500. What's the right answer?
The right answer is 356,014 people applied for a job at Southwest Airlines in 2019. And of those applicants, we hired 6,755 people. So a fun little fact is it's statistically harder to get a job at Southwest Airlines than it is to get into Harvard. So there's your little trivia on the people side for Southwest. So I am so happy to be with everyone this morning to share a little bit about my history with Southwest, a little bit about our history, the culture, and then really what we're here to probably hear mainly about is our Repurpose with Purpose program. So let me share my screen. And I'm going to need some thumbs up to make sure everyone can see it. Can everyone see it?
We can see it.
Okay. Well, I'll first share a little bit about my Southwest story. I've been with Southwest for almost 27 years. It was my first job out of college. So I went to college in Arkansas, and Southwest, when I was graduating, my mom saw a story on the news that said Southwest was looking to hire 1,000 employees at a new reservation center. And she said, I think you ought to put in for that job. So I listened to my mom and put in for the job. And I was one of those people back before you went to the internet to make your reservations, you actually called and it was Southwest Airlines. This is Anna. How can I help you? So that's how my career started at Southwest. I spent 4 years in our reservation department, and then I transitioned to our marketing department when we opened Albany, New York. I moved from Arkansas to upstate New York, which is quite a shock, especially on the weather in the winter. So I handled our marketing efforts for 3 years in Albany, and then marketing went through one of several reorgs, and that's when I was relocated to Nashville. So I've been in Nashville for about 17 years. Spent a few more years on our marketing team, and then I've been on our community outreach team for about, I think, 12 years. So like my intro said, I work with business, civic, and nonprofits here in Nashville on a national level, and then 12 other local markets are part of also my responsibility. So it's a great job. We have a great team. This is my team up in the It's changed a little bit. This picture was from a couple of years ago, but that's my team. And these are some of my highlight moments at Southwest. Down in the corner, you see the plane there. You can't totally see it, but we have about 12 or 14 special aircrafts within our fleet of 750. And they're usually dedicated to states where we have a lot of investment in airplanes, employees, customers. So when we celebrated 30 years in Nashville a few years ago, we dedicated a plane to the state of Tennessee. So that's Tennessee 1. Super fun planning that. And then up in the upper corner, down in the corner, that's us on the Ryman stage. We do a lot with the music business. So we had an event at the Ryman. That was kind of fun. And then one of my favorite stories is Keith and Dottie. So they were a couple who flew on Southwest a lot, and they were getting married for the second time. So they were trying to figure out how they wanted to like celebrate their marriage. They didn't want to do a traditional service. So they were sitting in the gate of Baltimore one day and said, wouldn't it be fun to get married on an airplane? So they wrote Southwest a letter, and we always answer everyone back. But when they wrote the letter to us, it also coincided with, we had just won a new route from Nashville to Dallas Love Field. That's our home airport, and it had been restricted by a federal rule for years. And so it lifted, and we were starting to add flights to other cities within our network. So we were going to have this flight. So we told Keith and Dottie, sure, you can get married. We'll help you throw a wedding in the sky if you'll be on our inaugural flight from Nashville to Dallas Love Field, which that's like the perfect airport name for a wedding. So we actually helped throw their wedding. And I have a little video I want to show you of Keith and Dottie's story.
Keith, Dottie, you have consented together and hold
at 32,000 feet, somewhere over Arkansas,
and have exchanged rings as a token.
Southwest Airlines allowed something it has never done before.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Tennessee.
But before you witness the wedding, we want you to meet the bride and groom.
Crazy love. She gives me love.
There's a lot of things around flying that tend to not be fun.
Crazy love.
Let's make it fun again.
We were with Dottie Coven and Keith Stewart in Nashville.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, we're going to begin the...
As Flight 4058
Welcome aboard.
boarded for Dallas Love Field.
It's nonstop love. That's what it's all about.
I should know this.
They don't work for the airline. Just fly it a lot.
How many of you thought you were going to a wedding today?
Not long after climbing out of Nashville, a 4-year-old flower girl named Sydney passed out peanuts.
Thank you.
And as music played over the intercom, Dottie danced down the aisle to get married.
We are gathered here today, whether you intended to or not.
The front of a 737 is a tight squeeze for a wedding.
If anyone can show just cause why they might not be lawfully joined together, let them push their flight attendant call button now.
The couple read vows from their mobile phones.
I, Keith, take Dottie to be my lawfully wedded wife.
As everyone else used theirs to capture the moment.
I, Dottie, choose you, Keith, to be my husband in front of our friends, our family, and random but very special guests.
141 guests to be exact.
Here's what's most remarkable. Together, Keith and Dottie have accumulated so many rapid rewards points for flying so much, they were able to get tickets on this flight for 30 family and friends who all witnessed the ceremony sitting in seatbelts.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
A unique union, 6 miles high on the way to Texas. Keith and Dottie met 2 years ago online. She's in sales, he is in IT, and they are on the road constantly.
We were literally sitting at a gate in Baltimore waiting for a flight and just thinking, what should we do? And we both were like, well, what about getting married? What about getting married on a plane? Why not?
A marriage. Like life.
It was great.
That's more about the journey than the destination. Jason Whiteley, ABC News, Dallas.
They were so much fun. I'm still friends. That was in 2014, and I'm still friends with Keith and Dottie to this day. And it's one of the best parts about working at Southwest is that every employee is empowered to kind of make these connections and make moments special for our customers. And I think that's why, people really like our brand, and hopefully you've all experienced Southwest and had a good experience. So we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. So it's crazy. We've been flying for 50 years, giving people the freedom to fly for 50 years. So Back on June 18th, 1971, we had 3 airplanes. We served 3 cities, Dallas, Texas, and San Antonio. And we took our first flight on June 18th after 4 years of fierce legal battles. So we had 3 cities, 3 airplanes, and about 200 employees. So fast forward to today, we have 730 airplanes. We serve 121 cities in 10 countries, and we have about 56,000 employees. We fly more. This is a fact that most people don't know. We fly more domestic customers than any other airline. We've never furloughed or laid off an employee, which is truly amazing. I mean, in our industry for a whole, but really even in the last year, we've never had to furlough or lay off an employee. And it was our leaders' #1 goal during the pandemic to save jobs and not have to lay our employees off. So we've had 47 years of profitability, obviously. Until last year, we didn't make a profit. And our business model and our culture is studied in business schools throughout the world. So our purpose is simple. We connect people to what's important in their lives through friendly, reliable, and low-cost air travel. So our #1 goal, our founder's goal in 1971 was to give everyone the freedom to fly. So before Southwest, about 15% of the people in this country had flown. And now that number is north of 85%. So we truly revolutionized the airline industry and have given people the opportunity to fly for many important things in their life. So it's great to be part of that culture. And I think the one thing, well, 2 things. When I introduce myself to people and they say, "Where do you work?" The first thing usually they want to tell me is their favorite Southwest story. So that never gets old. The second thing they ask me is the culture truly what it seems like from the customer's perspective. And it truly is. And you know, Southwest, our culture is so unique. And it's really, we work really hard on our culture. And I think it starts with, from day one, our founder said, we're going to focus on our employees first. We're not going to focus on our customers first, our external customers. We're going to focus on our internal customers, make sure our employees are taken care of. They will then treat our customers well. Then our customers will buy more tickets. Our shareholders will be happy. And it's a simple model, and we're asked so often about it, but it's pretty hard to execute and to get it right, especially as we've grown to almost 60,000 employees. But it's up to each and every employee in this company to do their part on maintaining our culture. And it can be a simple smile to someone, going the extra mile, asking about a sick family member. But we have 3 main values that we kind of look for in the interview process at Southwest. We look for a warrior spirit, somebody who's going to work hard, be innovative, work with a sense of urgency. We look for somebody who has a servant's heart, following the golden rule. We want you to treat people the way you want to be treated, put others first, demonstrate proactive customer service. And then our last value is fun-loving attitude. And I hope you've experienced that. I mean, people, you know, we are empowered to have fun and we're empowered to make decisions. And I think when you know that from the very beginning, it really helps you move forward and know how to make these decisions. I can remember in my training class almost 27 years ago, my trainer said, "You're never going to get in trouble for erring on the side of a customer." Now, there may be a learning moment involved, but we're never going to, you're never going to get reprimanded or disciplined for erring in the side of the customer. Well, when you know that from the beginning, it's an amazing feeling knowing that I can make decisions and I can make customer experiences better. So, and back to the initial question that I asked you on the number of employees, we had a recent example of how many people want to work at Southwest. Just last week, we opened up our external candidates for flight attendant, which we only do about once every maybe 4 or 5 years. So we had it open. We publicized it for 4 hours last Thursday. If you wanted to be a Southwest flight attendant, you can apply. We got over 20,000 applications in 4 hours. So it truly does, it's just so heartwarming knowing that how many people want to work at Southwest Airlines. So that's a little bit about our culture. And I was going to also say, I know you're doing questions in the chat, and if we don't get to all of those at the end, I'm happy to follow up and answer any questions. So these are some of my favorite quotes from our founder, Herb Kelleher. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was just known for just a straight shooter. And, you know, he would meet you one time and then meet you 5 years later and remember your name. And he just truly was, he's, in my opinion, one of the best business leaders in the world. And so these are some of my favorite things that he's said. I love that we have a strategic plan. It's called Doing Things. I use that one all the time. So, oh, and I also wanted to share this year in honor of our 50th, because so many people, so many companies reach out to Southwest and want to learn about our culture. We actually created Colleen Barrett was one of our other founders at Southwest, and we created an institute kind of in her honor to celebrate her. And she really kind of was the mother of our culture at Southwest. So if you go to ColleenBarrett.com, there's a whole institute with a lot of our culture. If you're needing to, you know, if you're wanting to work on culture or a lot of resources for your own company, feel free to check that out. And it also has information on there about our culture connection. So we do these events a couple of times a year where companies can come to our corporate headquarters in Dallas and learn all about our culture, learn from leaders, do tours and things like that. So I wanted to also share that with you. So, oh, the other thing before we get to Repurpose with Purpose, we love to celebrate everything at Southwest Airlines. So we probably have 10 recognition programs. All the employees are encouraged to, not just at the top, but at a local level, celebrate their co-workers and employees. We like to celebrate our customers. We do special things at the gate, on the plane. I think you see a lot of these if you follow us on social. So again, it goes back to that empowering thing. So, and then now I get the honor of talking about our Repurpose with Purpose program. So this program launched in 2014. We did a full retrofit of our aircraft, so 700, I think, airplanes at that point. We changed all of the leather out. So it was a genuine leather originally, what we had, very heavy. So we changed that out on all of our airplanes to a lighter, more sustainable e-leather. So when we did that, we had 43 acres of leather that we were, you know, we wanted to figure out, what can we do? We just don't want to send this to a landfill. You know, can we find partners who could use it? But back in 2014, it was difficult. I mean, we reached out and it was challenging because it's such a large amount of leather. So our first partner, one of our executives, I think, went to school in South Africa. So he had some connections with a nonprofit down there at an orphanage. And so we ended up sending most of that leather down there and putting it to use, teaching job skills through this orphanage where they made shoes and whatnot. And that was kind of the birth of our Repurpose with Purpose program. And now we work with many. I've got a few videos I want to show you of some of our partners, but so every 4 years our airplanes get overhauled. So last year we overhauled 160 airplanes, and so that produced 53,000 seat covers. So we've expanded the program this year, and I'm excited to talk about some of our partners for this year, but these are some of our kind of stats on the program. So since the program started, we have donated more than now it's 1.3 million pounds of seat covers to organizations who are using it to teach job skills and make new items with it. And it's just really, I took this program over a couple of years ago and I really enjoyed it. I've learned a whole lot about leather and how many airplanes we overhaul and how much leather it produces, and to try to find the right partners to, you know, be able to use this leather. And it's just, and so we've expanded it in this year really, to bring on some new partners. But some of the communities we serve, you can see on the slide. We've done some work in Mexico, and I have some of those stories that I'd like to share with y'all. We do a lot of video stories at Southwest, and this is a project we worked on in Mexico with some of our leather.
We believe that fashion is not only clothing and is not only looking good. It's culture, and that's why we work with the best designers in our country that are the indigenous communities. You usually don't see like seats of planes that have been used for a long time develop into something completely new. And we're like trying to develop these new products that have like the pompons of the chamula, the embroidery of Chenaló, the amazing stitches of San Juan Cancuc. We believe that we do high fashion in the desert, in the highlands, in the woods, everywhere. Carla Fernández y nosotras, todas nosotras tenemos una empresa que hace moda, que hace ropa, pero hacemos moda de una manera diferente porque la hacemos con las mejores diseñadoras de México que son ustedes.
Each community has their special technique. We feel the leather, we have sort of learned how the leather works. Can you dye it? Can you sew through it or embroider it? And that's how we will decide eventually what products are coming out from each group.
Pero como no tenemos dinero como mantenernos, como vestimos, yo aprendí desde chiquita bordar y tejer, y ya con eso ya me dedico a hacerlo. Y ya para mantenerme yo misma, que compré mi ropa y todo eso, mis calzados y todo eso. Es que yo, desde cada bordado, tiene significado, porque nos gusta.
In Mexico, in ancient times, there were no cows or there were no big animals, so it's not part of our culture. So it's taking us a little bit of challenge, but we're making it happen. The artisans are very happy to have like these challenges and say, yes, we can.
Pero como que es piel es difícil bordar y costurar porque es piel, es difícil de hacer un bordado, pero poco a poco vamos a acostumbrar cómo es hacer, cómo bordar un piel así como. Esta se llama brocado y bordado son puras hechas a mano y son telar de cintura. De esta bolsa de piel, nos cuesta un poquito de trabajo porque está duro, pero sí me gusta hacerlo. Ya ves, lo pude hacer. Sí.
Es que yo cuando entré como representante, yo pensé que no voy a quedar aquí nomás, sino que mi trabajo tengo que montar y tiene que crecer mi grupo, mi meta tengo que llegar más allá del mundo. Tengo que demostrar todo mi trabajo alrededor del mundo.
This is a fashion project together with amazing artisans, together with a great idea. And that's what we want to show the world, that fashion is not ephemeral and tradition is not static.
And then another partnership that this is one of our longest partners. They're a Rise Veteran Foundation. So they have several affiliates and work in different veterans organizations throughout the country, and then utilize the leather in art therapy. So we provide a capacity building grant and help them and provide the leather, obviously, but it puts leather into the hands of veterans and gives them the opportunity to create some beautiful things and put their mind to work. And we have a little story on Arise. This is actually here in Nashville at Knowles.
I've been working with homeless veterans and people on the streets ever since I got out of the Marine Corps in 2006. Well, one of the biggest things, especially those guys that have been in combat, is everything is mission driven. So this is a way for us to get other veterans together and kind of have that relationship again, but then have smaller mini goals.
Just to get up and do something every day and to know somebody is counting on you to do a little something, and it's a goal, makes a goal. I've been for 10 years and just rolling around in a wheelchair, sitting, nothing to do, and finally I feel like I have a purpose in life and something to look forward to.
Teaching our veterans to give back to each other, to help them to help other people, but then also helping our environment at the same time through sustainability. Even us today unloading, 100,000 pounds of leather by hand. We're able to help out and keep all that out of a landfill, and we're gonna be able to make, awesome stuff like this bag that we'll be able to use and utilize, or different types of arts and crafts. But really what we do, a big chunk of it is the therapeutic side, where we can help people, give them kind of a purpose and a sense of doing something.
For me, behind, a lot of people, this would see as a mound of trash. And for me, I see it as a mound of therapy. Because every time we can engage a resident or provide some support for those that are in transition, then it's been worth it. So each piece of leather, we try to say, how do we use 100% of it? It's all has value to us.
If we could be able to find veterans that could create something that they could tangibly make on a regular basis and be able to sell, we've made some awesome backpacks, some handbags, some bigger items, and those things could actually help sustain someone.
We'll make a, real community where people can live, work, play. I suffer from depression, and so, I look forward to getting out, doing stuff, and I enjoy it, It gives me a reason, something to look forward to, a reason to live, I guess. And I'm looking forward to what's coming next now.
And then Rethreaded is one of our partners down in Jacksonville, Florida. They work with women coming out of human trafficking and use our leather to produce items. And they have a shop online and in a storefront in Jacksonville. So they make beautiful bags and earrings and different kind of jewelry. So we've been working with them for a few years, and we had the opportunity to partner with Rethreaded and Project Runway All-Stars to kind of feature both Rethreaded and our Repurpose with Purpose program. And so here is that story.
I'm Irina Shabayeva, and I was on Project Runway All-Stars Season 7. Well, the challenge was to upcycle things that are used on a Southwest Airline flight. We didn't know what it was going to be. All Alyssa told us is that there were going to be suitcases on the conveyor belt, and we had to just grab them, and there would be materials in there for us to work with.
The winning designer is Irina.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great job this week, Irina. Congratulations. Irina, you'll be working with Southwest to create an all-stars accessory line for charity.
So excited about that. So now Rethreaded and I are working closely together to create a clutch inspired by the clutch I created on Project Runway, and also add sort of like a line of products that are in a collection that are inspired by the original clutch.
So her prototype bag is really cool. It's a lot bigger than ours and a lot shinier than ours. And it's very cool how she literally put it together in such a short amount of time. To be pressured into such a phenomenal idea is very inspiring.
I had the most amazing morning here, just chatting with these women and how passionate they are and excited to be working with the leather, and also just learning new skills and seeing something transform completely, I think, is so gratifying.
I would think of you when I think of leather, like to work with such an expensive material.
Yeah.
And that we have the honors to be able to work with. What we do here at Rethreaded is kind of like where my life started. Broken, ugly, dirty, no sense of direction, no purpose. And then coming in here and being able to repurpose all that to make it fresh, new, beautiful, inspiring. There's a story to tell. There's a lot of meaning behind it.
My favorite thing to work on is when I sew. The leather is very, very interesting in sewing. Now that we've down-packed ways of sewing it, like I say, the machinery, the equipment that we've been blessed with and donated by Southwest Airlines has really opened the doors up for a sharper product.
Just being creative, I think we were talking a little bit about how therapeutic it can be, and a sense of accomplishment you get, like when you really see, you create something tangible. I mean, that's what gives me purpose. It's like the inspiration that I get from products and people inspiring me, and it seems like that's what's really happening here. Just seeing how passionate everyone here is, I know that there'll be a lot more to come.
that was a fun one to work on. And then this is Help Heal Veterans. They are also an organization that support, obviously, veterans. They're based out of San Diego, and they produce art therapy kits for homebound and hospitalized veterans across the country. So they've used our leather to create probably, I think, about 130,000 kits that have gone out. And this was actually the first, when I took over the program, I flew out to visit them before the pandemic and just saw the amazing work and heard their story and was just so inspired by the work they do and you know, how this is helping the veterans. And I was hearing them tell their story. And then I got on my plane back to Nashville and sat next to a couple and we started chatting, and he asked me what I did and I told him about Rethreaded and Repurpose with Purpose. And he paused and he said, you know, Anna, I'm a veteran and I was in the hospital for 2 years and I would have given anything to have some of these therapy kits to keep my mind off of everything else that was going wrong in my life. So I was just like, that, you know, solidified. I mean, I was so inspired by the visit, and then hearing this customer story just really it made me understand that this is an important organization for us to support. And so we partnered last November, and we actually gave out luggage tag therapy kits and kind of promoted our partnership and what Help Heal Vets does in a few of our airports throughout the country. So in Nashville was one of those. So here's that story.
We're handing out 1,000 luggage tags, and we're just passing those out as an awareness piece of what we're doing, and also to honor veterans.
Has anyone ever heard of a program called Repurpose with a Purpose? This is a program started in 2013 by Southwest Airlines.
And through this initiative, we partner with like-minded organizations to upcycle, downcycle, and recycle thousands of pounds of discarded materials. Southwest Airlines has been working with Help Heal Veterans since 2018.
Help Heal Veterans is a veteran service organization that helps veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and other ailments. We do that through therapeutic art and crafts.
Do we have any crafty folks in the gate area who would like a little friendly crafting contest? We're looking for 2 folks. Get your dots ready.
Since 2018, we have donated 300,000 pounds of Southwest seat covers to Help Heal Vets to make the therapeutic art kits.
When we take a Southwest Airlines seat and we will strip it down and we'll make it into a therapy kit. Those therapy kits have therapeutic instructions that are step-by-step, and they help your brain. They help your brain go in an order. And with the PTSD, it's a way for you to turn your brain off.
100,000 of those kits have been made with our leather and sent out to veterans all over the country.
So when we get materials from partners like Southwest, it's invaluable.
Happy Veterans Day!
And here's a little slide of some of the products that some of our partners have made. You've seen most of those in the videos. So now I'd like to talk about some of our new partners. We don't quite have videos ready for them yet, but I look forward to putting a video together. These are all new partners as of this year. And the first one is Turnip Green Creative Reuse. I'm sure you all know Miss Leah Sherry. I got connected to Turnip Green, I guess at the end of last year, and through another project with MNPS, and I didn't know about Turnip Green before I was introduced to them from Pencil. So they just do amazing work, and we are doing some exciting things with them. So we supported them with a capacity building grant for a year. So they're taking in a truckload of leather seats every month. And then you can see on this property up here, we also supported with 2 shipping containers. They hired 3 local mural artists to kind of design those and put some fun around them. And so one of those containers is going to house the leather seats, and the other one is being developed into a Repurpose with Purpose gallery that will showcase all of the products that local artisans make. So they'll be able to come and check it out and hopefully buy the products. And they're also doing workshops, community workshops. And then they have created thousands. I don't even know where we are now, Leah, you may know, or Jen, how many art creativity kits they've created for MNPS students through both their after school programming as well as another program with MNPS that we also did this year. So, and you can see the little fanny pack. They're working with local artisans to create various items that'll be for sale, both in their storefront and online. So excited. The whole team is just a bundle of creativity. And when Leah and I first met, we just had all these fun ideas. And if you know her, you know how that goes with Leah. So it's just been a lot of fun. And they've done a tremendous job in a short amount of time with this leather. And it's a lot of leather that comes in every month. So kudos to Turnip Green. Thank you, Leah and Jen and Ellen, the team. It's just been so fun working with y'all, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So, and then the other program that they also helped us support is a upcycle design challenge with Metro Nashville School District. So we have been talking about this for probably a year and a half, and it rolled out this semester. So all of the visual arts teachers in K through 12 were given the opportunity to opt in to work with the leather, have their students work with the leather and design various products, whatever they wanted to make. The elementary school students actually have the art kit that was prepared by the Turnip Green artisans, and it has a great little flight. It's called the Flight to Our Future school plan that was developed. So all of the elementary schools are working through that, and then the middle school and high school students basically were challenged with designing anything they want with the leather. So that's going on right now. So at the end of that program, we are also going to be able to, for the first time, and this was kind of exciting, get the student projects in the Arts at the Airport exhibit at the airport. So that was fun because it had been a goal of Allison, who leads the visual arts program over there, to get student works in Arts in the Airport for many years, and it's never been able to come to fruition. So we were able to make that happen. So starting at Thanksgiving through May of next year, you will see the student designs on display in our brand new Concourse D. Hopefully you've seen that. It's a beautiful concourse. So it'll all be displayed here in the Arts at the Airport. So we're super excited about that. We're going to hopefully bring the students out for a behind the scenes tour of our operation at Nashville, see their artwork. And then another piece of that, we brought in Help Heal Vets for this as well, because they produce probably 8 or 10 different kits with our leather. So they needed a new idea for a wallet. So we put that challenge out to the middle school and high school students. So they have the opportunity to opt into that program as well. And we'll pick one design, or Help Heal Vets will pick one design that they actually will put into production next year. And so this student's design will be sent to veterans all over the country in 2022. And then we're going to fly the student and their teacher and parents or guardian out to San Diego to see the facility. So, and we're hoping that if this program goes well in Nashville, that we can replicate this in some of Southwest other key markets. So super excited about that. I don't have a slide for our other partner this year, but they are out of Costa Rica. It's a educational university called Cartier. So we're donating leather to Cartier, and they're using that leather for their sustainable tourism initiative. So they're working with women in rural Costa Rica. They're going to have leather workshops. So super excited about that partnership as well. So invite you to, check out or support one of our organizations. If you are a sewer and would like to use things, please go check out Turnip Green and get some leather and make some items. And we'd love to have you participate that way. And then finally, I wanted to share, as part of our 50th anniversary, we kicked off a campaign in February that we wanted to spark 1 million acts of kindness, because we feel like there just needs to be a little bit more kindness in this world. So we would love for you to visit southwest50.com/acts of kindness and take our kindness pledge. We've actually just hit we exceeded our goal early. So we've got the 1 million, we're at like 1.2, I think, million acts of kindness. And then we announced a couple of weeks ago that kind of as the celebration of that, we wanted to also give back to 50 nonprofits. They were able to apply for a grant that will be announced in the coming weeks or months. And we're going to give away $1 million worth of travel to 50 organizations throughout the country. So super exciting. And then I want to leave you with one of my favorite. It's all about kindness and how, and I hope you have felt that when you have interacted with our employees at Southwest, but this last video is probably my favorite video that we produced at Southwest. And it truly shows the importance of how a small interaction can mean something for someone and have such a lasting effect on a family. So I'd like to share this story and then we'll get to some Q&A.
Hi, my name is John Grease. I've been at Southwest Airlines for 25 years, captain for 22 of those, and I live in Hazlet, Texas.
So we were walking down the jetway, and my father-in-law, Mr. Spain, came up to the captain and said, are you flying this thing? And the captain said, I sure am. And Mr. Spain said, well, I was a pilot in World War II. And at that point, the captain took him and said, well, you're coming with me. How long has it been since you've seen inside one of these things?
He came up front and sat down and went to go in the right seat. And I said, no, you need to get the left seat. And so he went over and got in the left seat and we sat down. And I said, well, this is some of the same instruments that you had 50 years ago when you were flying. And he said, yeah, it looks familiar. And so we sat there and talked and just visited, just sat there with a piece of living history. And he honored me by coming up front like that.
Every time I walk on a plane, I always check to see who the pilot is. I've always wanted to get to see him again, and I always hated that I didn't get his name that day, so that I could have contacted him and let him know what a difference he made.
Him coming up my flight deck, wow, that means a lot to me. I mean, this guy's living history with all his experience and everything. And if you see in the picture, at one point in time, he had his hand resting up here on the yoke like this. It's like, that's a pilot. I mean, that's just a pilot.
You know, my father-in-law's health began to deteriorate very quickly after that trip, and he went into a home, and he had one picture by his bed, and it was him and the captain in the cockpit. He was very proud of that picture, but I think it just spoke volumes of how honored he felt.
I felt like I wanted to be around him. I want him to come up and sit in the flight deck. Just tell me anything. Just tell me a story. Just tell me anything. And to think of a man that had that type of worldly experience up in my flight deck, it was an honor.
I think he just had closed a chapter in his life and didn't really want to go back there, but after this one gesture that the captain did, you know, he really opened up even about just some of the stories that we had not even heard. And so that was a really cool experience for me to get to know more about him.
And it really was maybe 15 or 20 minutes that had this sort of huge impact on our family. I've taken it really as something that I try to do as I travel too. To sort of watch out for the people that have a little bit of a lost look in their eyes, and it's really hard to understand how big of an impact that just a short little gesture could make.
So before we do Q&A, it would be a Southwest presentation unless we had a little surprise and delight and gave away some Southwest money today. So we, on the back end, did a little random drawing. And so 2 of you today are going to get a $100 Southwest gift card, and we will contact you. I'll contact you after the event and share that. But the big winners are, drum roll please, Mila Rosebaugh and Angela Cartledge. So congratulations. I hope you use that money, pick a good spot to go and make a memory. So thank you for having me today. And now I'm happy to answer any questions we have.
Thank you so much, Anna. Oh my gosh, I'm still emotionally recovering from that last video, but this was amazing. Congratulations to our 2 winners. First question for you. We got a lot of love for Southwest, how fittingly, and a lot of requests for different flight routes. People want you to come to Rogers.
I hear that a lot too. Let's get them. I'll add them to the list.
Our first question comes from Caitlin. She said, I had heard with car seats they were hard to recycle because of fire retardants being sprayed on the fabric. Is there a similar challenge with the seat repurposing? Since your seats are leather, I didn't know if that changed some of those factors. Thank you.
You know what? I do not know the answer to that one. I will have to research that one and follow up. Can you take a note of that one for me, Jocelyn?
Most definitely.
Thank you.
All right. Lots of great presentations, love in the chat. Definitely drop your questions in here if you got them. So I had one for you, Anna. With all of this repurpose with a purpose, what's been the most fun challenge of really like getting all of these materials, keeping them out of the landfill? What's been the most fun challenge?
Well, I think probably initially when I was, given the opportunity to take over this program, I just really, I knew a little bit about the program, but really digging in and working with some of our other internal teams and truly understanding how many airplanes, because when I took over the program, we had a warehouse full of leather in Dallas and it was costing a lot of money to store it. And so like our folks down in our tech ops department, I'm like 5 days into this job, still learning it. And they're like, do you have any partners for this to go to? I was like, give me a little bit of time to understand. So I think in the beginning, and it was a fun challenge just to learn. I probably asked them 4,000 questions because it's just hard. I'm not used to working in that world. Where our airplanes get maintenance, how this leather comes off, how it's dropped in boxes and sent back to Dallas. It was just a lot of logistical things. And when we find new partners to work with, they have to be able to take a full semi truck of leather. So we're not really looking to work with partners who only want to take one little box of leather. It's just the volume is so great on the leather. So that certainly was a challenge from the beginning. And now I feel like I have that under control. And I think we're going to look to see what other kind of things within the company that obviously we can recycle and starting to do some research on that. But just getting my head wrapped around all this leather, it took a lot. So
I would imagine, especially when somebody needs to take a semi truck, that's probably a big decision in how you decide who becomes a partner.
Well, absolutely. And a lot of organizations don't have the space for that. It's just a lot of leather. So, I am proud to say that in my time of managing the program, we're in a better position now. We actually are in a position where I'm having to figure out, if we have enough leather for all of our current partners. So it's kind of a different challenge now on the back end because we have our airplane schedule is like 2 years out. So I know exactly for the next 2 years how many airplanes are being overhauled, how much leather that will produce. So it really now is kind of a challenge on the back end, trying to make sure we have leather going to everyone who needs it and is doing all of this work. So
I love to hear it. All right, this question comes from Sophia. What are other ways Southwest is being sustainable?
Well, we do have onboard recycling. And I think the biggest thing we're getting into now is we have a whole team. It's not my department, but working on sustainable aviation fuel. I think that it obviously is going to be a huge way that Southwest and all airlines can make a difference. But right now, there's just not a lot of that being made. It's very expensive. So, I think that's where we are headed towards. So yeah, we have a lot of initiatives going on. But as far as sustainability, this program right here, even though it's making a big impact in the whole scheme of things, it's really going to be sustainable aviation fuel that makes a huge impact for our business and what we're doing. But this program right here is such a good storytelling opportunity, and it really relates with people because it's easy to understand. I mean, as you know, a lot of things when you're dealing with environment, they can be kind of overwhelming for a lot of people. I mean, this is what this organization does, but it's really been fun to like see this Repurpose with Purpose just be able to connect with a lot of people, and our employees love this, and so it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, where are those routes? Any route requests before we?
Let's see. There was a direct from between Nashville and Newark. There was lots of love for San Diego. Apparently that's an existing one that makes somebody's life so much better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Knoxville.
Yeah.
Tucson, more flights to ECP. Not sure what that is.
Panama City. Yeah. Somebody likes the beach.
Who doesn't? Well, Anna, thank you so much. This was incredible. Everyone definitely give her a virtual round of applause with those reactions. We were so grateful to have you here. Yes, lots of love coming in on the chat. And we just so appreciate your time, your expertise, and everything that you're doing to be a Tennessee woman in green. So thank you, Anna.
Y'all have a great weekend.
You too. So now I am going to hand it over to Gracelyn for this month's announcements.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Anna, thank you again for being here. That was so amazing. And let's see, if Jocelyn, if you could enable screen sharing.
Yes, I am just trying to find you actually. 1 second. Okay. There you are.
Cool. Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Yes, that was awesome. I feel like we were all so moved by those stories, especially the last one. I was just like, oh, that was a great and very, very moving story. But yeah, it's amazing to see a global corporation like Southwest not only investing in local communities, but investing in the people and organizations that know those local communities the best. It's not common, and it's very encouraging. And I just want to commend you and Southwest for being such an awesome and responsible company. So thanks again for being here. And thank you all for being here, joining us this morning. Our mission, as always, is to empower, inspire, and connect women who are committed to environmental sustainability. As always, huge shout out to our sponsors. We could not be here without you all. We're so thankful to each and every one of you. If you or your workplace is interested in becoming a sponsor, we do have more information on our website, TennesseeWomenInGreen.com/become a sponsor, and Renee will drop that link in the chat as well. Thank you if you have started or renewed your membership with TWIG. If you are new to TWIG, if it is your first meeting by chance, definitely check out our website. We have a lot of great resources there just about who TWIG is, some of the events we've got going on, lots of different ways to get connected. If you're a new member, you do have the membership directory that's available to you. It's just a way to connect with TWIG board members, TWIG members that may share the interests that you have. Lots of different ways to connect. So yeah, always reach out, grab a coffee, an intro call with any of the board members or TWIG members. We would love to meet you. Got a lot of upcoming events, so it's super exciting. On Saturday, October 2nd, which is tomorrow, 9th and the 16th, Owls Hill Nature Sanctuary is doing one of their fall color hikes, so that should be really amazing. On Saturday, October 9th at 10 a.m., the Cumberland River Compact is doing a volunteer activity to work on some of their rain gardens. So volunteers will be digging, planting, and mulching, and all materials will be provided. So that should be a really great event. On Wednesday, October 13th, Tennessee is presenting the Tennessee Valley Solar Conference at the Embassy Suites in Cool Springs. Also on the 13th at 1 p.m., the Tennessee Department of Health is doing a webinar on the arts as a part of their health equity series to look at the role that equity plays in our lives. And don't forget to mark your calendar, as always, for our next monthly program. That will be November 5th at 7:30 a.m. We will have Jessica Gossett with Tennessee State Parks. Networking begins at 7:30, and the program will begin at 8. We also have our USGBC and TWIG leadership breakfast coming up. That will be October 12th at 8 a.m. This event will provide an amazing platform for women in the green building and sustainability fields to share their stories and learn from each other and connect. You can purchase a ticket through the link in our events calendar or via the link in the chat. We will have a moderated panel of 4 women in leadership: Erica Weeks, Jacqueline Monthupi, Laura Zapata, and Terry Kevlin, in addition to breakout discussions and a keynote presentation by the 2021 award winner. We will also have our Twigtoberfest, so this will be super fun. It will be the 14th at 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on the patio at Von Elrod's. Tennessee Conservation Voters is looking for 2 new board positions, a vice president and a treasurer. So if you're interested in either of these positions, reach out to president@tnconservationvoters.org for more information. Anyone registered for this meeting will be able to grab a free coffee at Ugly Mugs in East Nashville, courtesy of the Green Interchange. Thank you so much. Just mention TWIG. That's all you got to do. And again, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. This has been awesome. It is the highlight of my month every month, and I just come out feeling like so connected and like I learned so much. So Anna, thank you again for being here and for sharing your story and about what Southwest is doing. And thank you all for joining us this morning. And yeah, feel free to connect with us on socials, reach out via email. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.